Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on Polywine, where we like to take a deep dive into stories pulled from different sources of media and have a fun time while breaking it down. I'm Jillian, and let's get into it. So this week here in the U.S., it is the 4th of July. We're going to celebrate the 4th of July and have a good time. So enjoy the fireworks, enjoy the good food, but please be careful and be safe. A lot of injuries can happen a lot at this time of year. Also in summertime, fun. So just please be careful, but most importantly, enjoy yourself. Have a great time. Moving on to weather. So we have something historic happening right now in the Caribbean, in the Atlantic. We have Hurricane Beryl. Hurricane Beryl just actually set a record. It was originally a Category 4, one of the earliest in record, and now it has just been announced as of Monday night. It has been recategorized as a Cat 5. So first time in history that a Category 5 hurricane has been developed so early on. So please think of the people in the Caribbean right now. We should keep an eye on the Dominican Republic, Haiti, Jamaica, and it looks like it could be turning to Mexico and the southern U.S. By early next week. So please be careful and think of those that could be affected by it. It could be very serious. Moving on to what's happened last week. Let's just get into it. Let's just get into the presidential debate. Last Thursday, we had the very first presidential debate of 2024. President Biden, former President Trump. And to say it was difficult to watch is really an understatement. It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch. The new rules that were put in place is that there was no audience. The mic was cut on the individual who was not speaking, so you could have a clear conversation with the nominee who's trying to get across, right? What their point is and what they're trying to get across, so you could hear them speak clearly. And it did not go well. I don't think it went well for either candidate, but as we know, it was nothing short really of a disaster for Biden. It was a disaster. He was incoherent at many points of the debate. What he had to say, to put it lightly, was extremely disjointed, and it was uncomfortable. It was hard to watch. You know, I think anyone who has an older loved one in the family or friend, it's when you see them kind of stagger a little bit in that way, when you see that they are not on the top of their game, it is hard to watch. And to see it in such a public way and on display for the whole world to see wasn't comfortable. I don't care what your political position is, what party you stand with. That doesn't matter right now. It was hard. I feel like there was a lot of inaccuracies being spewed through the debate, but it was just hard to watch. And as someone who loves politics, and I really do, the one question that kept resounding over and over and over in my head, and I caught myself saying out loud repeatedly, was, this is all we have. This is what we've got. These are the only two candidates that can represent the United States of America. I find that very disheartening. I find it baffling. I find it just upsetting. This is all we have. There are a lot of very intelligent, great politicians in this country, from small government to large government to, House and Senate, right? But these two, we have, it was hard to watch. And I'm sorry. I know there is a lot of conversation that's going on right now in the Democratic Party. Should we start to look for an alternative candidate for Biden? And in my personal opinion, I think so. I think we are there. And there's too much riding on this election. Women's rights are slowly being pulled away. We have to worry about the economy, where we stand in just the power of the universe right here, or the world, our political position on the world stage as the U.S., right? It's a scary time. And I worry. I really worry. I worry for my children. I worry from us, myself and my family going on to a next chapter in our life. But as our children go on to a different life, healthcare is a hot mess here in the U.S. Like, there's serious issues. And these two guys that are just on the same loop, on the same things over and over and over and over again, I can't handle it. I need something new. I need an infusion of excitement back in politics. I need a fresh voice. I need new ideas. I mean, look, Rome wasn't built in a day and we're not going to get there overnight, but we need something. We cannot have more of the same old. And that is just my personal opinion. So again, as someone who loves politics, I will talk politics to the end of the day. But I'm just going to gloss over this one. I personally think that we need to be rethinking our candidates today. There's still time. We have another debate coming up in September. We have the conventions coming up. And there is time. This has happened before in U.S. history. Let's get the ball moving. Okay? Personal opinion, but I don't honestly think I'm standing alone. This is too important of an election to fumble the ball. All I keep thinking is the movie Ace Ventura. If we do not do something now, laces out, Finkel. You finkled the ball, right? And it's very upsetting. Very upsetting. So let's move on to some happier news. Now that we just got a little bit of that out. And oh, by the way, not only this, let's just drop into one other little piece of politics right now. Former Trump aide and lawyer and legal scholar, I guess you could say at one time, and former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani, was disbarred in the state of New York. So he is out, no longer allowed to practice law in the state of New York, which was the irony. The irony, because remember when he was the mayor of New York during 9/11, and the way he got in was he wasn't well liked going into his mayoral race back in the early 2000s. But he had a strong court backing behind him. He went against a lot of the mobs and a lot of corruption. And it's just ironic that he ends up going down in a similar fashion. So the irony hasn't been lost on us there yet, Rudy Giuliani. But now let's get into some fun stuff. We've just got a little dabbled into some politics, a little bit of weather. So let's get into the fun stuff. So this past week we've had on TV, we had House of Dragons. It's on. The war is happening. The ball has been rolling. And as Rhaenyra went to go visit her friend, Allison, I guess I should say former friend Allison. Now, once I'd say former friend because, she married her father, forced her younger brother, stole her throne, all that stuff. All the things that Rhaenyra could be a little upset about and say former friend. I think that's a fair statement, former friend. But she went to go visit Allison to see if they could kind of negotiate some type of peace so there wouldn't be a war, and unfortunately, she said it's already started. The ball's rolling. I can't stop it now. It's already happening. So let's get excited. It's going to be, I think, several really good episodes coming up because the dragons are out. The dragon baby eggs are being passed around. Everyone's going to have dragons soon, and it's going to be a battle of dragons. So it's going to be really good. I'm excited about it. And then if we move over to Apple TV, I'm telling you, if you have not started watching the series Presumed Innocent, please do. It is very, very good. Now, I don't want to have a spoiler for anything. Episode 4 just aired. Now, this is based on the 1987 book. And then there was a movie in 1990 with Harrison Ford about it. Now, I have not read the book. And I have not seen the Harrison Ford movie. Now, I've wanted to break. I wanted to look at the book. I wanted to read it, audible it, whatever. I wanted to rent the movie. I think the only thing I can find to rent it on was Prime. And I almost broke this past weekend. My little one was a little under the weather, and I almost broke. But I didn't, because I can't wait. I want to know the ending. I'm in it. I'm in this show, but I did not. I did not break, and I refrained, and I'm going to continue to watch the series. But I mean, it's good. It's really good. Jake Gyllenhaal, you are so good in this series. You really, really are. Now, I am going to tell you. Again, I don't know the book. I don't know the ending. I want to, but I do not. I really, really want to, because I'm very impatient. I am that person. First of all, I think I'm that person that will try and solve the ending within the first few minutes of the movie or the book. And I'm usually right. I'm not gonna say I haven't been wrong, but I would say I have a very high correct factor. Yes, it's a pretty high rate, I would say. I give it the upper 90s. I'm pretty good. But there's something up with his wife. It's bothering me. There's that one scene where she's sitting on the bed talking to her two children after the whole affair came out, that Jake Gyllenhaal's mistress is dead and murdered in a very similar fashion, that one of their previous cases, or murder cases, their victims were tied up in a similar fashion. And the reason they're linking him is not only due to like the DNA, the skin under his fingernails. He was really one of the last people to be seen at her house with the victim before she died. And the fact that they were having an affair, she was pregnant with his baby. The paternity was definitely confirmed. And only a few people knew about the way their previous victim was tied up and victimized, if you would, the terrors of it. So only her, the victim now, the mistress of Jake Gyllenhaal, she knew because she was an attorney on the case, and he was the other attorney on this case. So they were aware of the horrific way this previous victim was murdered. And now she, Carolyn, the prosecutor, Jake Gyllenhaal's mistress, she was found tied up the same way as a previous victim that they had court case about. So not many people knew those details. So that, again, looks really bad on Jake Gyllenhaal, because he knew about it and it was not put out there to the media, out on to the social scene, in the news and stuff like that. So the public was not aware of how this happened. So only him and the attorney at the time, his mistress, were aware of it. So now she's tied up like that. So, I mean, it's just weird. But what I was going to say is that there is a scene where the mother is comforting the two children after all this comes out. The mistress was murdered. There's a funeral. And now he's possibly could be indicted for the murder of his mistress. And the mother is talking, Jake Gyllenhaal's wife was talking to her children. And she's like, your dad's not a bad man. He just made some bad choices. Okay, true. But there is something too calming about that scene that bothers me. Because I'm telling you, I don't know a woman on the face of this planet that's going to be that calm in a situation like that. That she's not going to be like, he was an idiot. I'm pissed off at him. You have every right to be pissed off at him. He blew up our family, and now we're in the public eye. Everybody in this whole area knows about this court case because your dad's on TV as a former prosecutor. Now he's implicated in his mistress's murder. Crazy. And so you're just going to be that calm and just say your dad's made some bad choices, but he's not a bad man. I don't think so. That scene right there put my alert button up. It is. Like, the flag went up. I'm like, hold on. Something's not right there. And she's just too calm. And the whole scene with the bartender was unnecessary. Like, I understand that you're pissed that your husband had an affair and you want to go get yourself some. That's fine. That is fine. But Okay, just get it over with. Just get it over. I don't need these really prolonged scenes about it. And then for you not to hook up with him anyway, please. Please, please, please. I'm not okay with that. It was a waste of my time. But I don't know, something suspicious. However, when the evidence came back from the coronary report from the morgue that she had Jake Gyllenhaal's skin under her nails. You're just like, oh no. And then you could see him spiral. I gotta tell you, I'm just so into this show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's just done really well. Like I said, it's David E. Kelley, it's J.J. Abrams. You know you are going to get a good quality show. And you are. I have my flags up. Again, I don't know the ending. I really want to, but I don't yet. So I'm going to keep watching. I am so into it. I love it. Absolutely. It's a great summer show. And we need it. We need a good summer show. Everything else is on hiatus. You get all the repeats of stuff. So I am so glad that this show's on. And speaking of some new shows coming up, the cast of Traitors season 3, just from what I've read, just finished wrapping over in Scotland. They're done. The winner has been named, although we do not know it yet because the show hasn't aired. And I'm really excited for the show. I really like this show. I think that show is fantastic. It's one of the better game shows for sure. It's a mind game. It's deceit. It's trust. It's team building. It's everything. It's Clue. It's Clue on a much Clue versus Survivor kind of twist. I am so into it. I love Alan Cummings. I love all of his outfits. I love the mystique of the castle. Some of those challenges I would not do. No way, Jose. But it's so good. And I believe, hold on. So let me say, hold on. I just had to pull up the cast here. So some of the cast on the new season of The Traitors is Bob Harper from The Biggest Loser. And I'm reading this list from Bing. Bob the drag queen from RuPaul's Drag Race, always good, always good. Brittany Haynes from Big Brother. I do not watch Big Brother. I don't know anything about her, but I don't know. Hopefully she can bring it. Carolyn Wigner, from Survivor, don't know her either. Chanel Ayen from The Real Housewives of Dubai. And she's going to be great because she's going to give great fashion. She's going to be over the top and she's going to say some really funny things. But she's the first one to admit she doesn't work out. She doesn't do anything active. That's not her thing. So she should be entertaining to watch during the challenges. Then you have Tom Sandoval from Vanderpump Rules. I think everybody knows how I feel about him. And I'm sure at some point he's going to break down crying on this season of The Traitors as well. And there's Trishelle Stouth from Selling Sunset. I don't watch that show. So, but I have heard that show's got a lot of drama. So hopefully she can bring the drama too. I love that show. I can't wait to watch the new season. I'm sure it'll bring it. I hope there's a few more Bravo celebrities on there. There's usually several more. I really hope so. I liked last year when they had a good group. I really liked Phaedra. So good. They did get rid of the girl from The Real Housewives of Miami, Larsa, pretty quickly. I was a little bummed that they got rid of, oh my God, why am I drawing a blank? Tamra from OC. So they got rid of her too quickly because she was spot on. Like, I'm telling you, the housewives, they know BS. And it's usually the Real Housewives that pick out who the traitors are right away. Right away. And then you had the Mercedes from Shaw's. She coasted a little too long. She was okay, but she was too easily manipulated. And I like MJ. I really like MJ. But she was a little too easily manipulated, and I think she coasted too long. So I think that Tamra should have stayed longer because she would have brought the drama. And she was already like keen in on who the traitors originally were. So bring it. I'm excited. And speaking of Tamra and new shows, The Real Housewives of OC should be airing next week. It starts on July the 11th. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And poor Shannon, everyone loves you. Everyone loves you, Shannon. That's why you've been on for so long. And you really go through it. And you're going to go through it this season too. Everyone is going to come for you. You know, you've had a few really difficult, challenging, hard seasons over the years. Your whole breakup with your ex, David, who was a douche. And then you had the whole John thing, how you were trying to get back on your own and on your feet after divorcing and being pretty much a single parent to your girls. And your girls are great and your girls are grown up and you've done your job, Shannon. You were a good mom. You loved your children. It is very, very obvious. Now you need to get yourself in order. And you can see she's struggling, you know. I feel Shannon, everything she had in for so long is gone. Her marriage to her first husband, that image of her family, gone. Her being a mother, that chapter of her life is being a stay-at-home mom and hands-on with your children is over. Her children are adults now, or they're bigger. I think the oldest or the youngest, I think they're going to college now, or they may be in their final year of high school, but they're pretty independent, right? They don't need mom the way they used to. She's moving into a different chapter of her life. And Shannon, you are great. You are quirky. You are funny. You are messy. You are silly. You are shady. You are all those things that everyone likes you and everything that makes you Shannon. But, you know, sometimes you can get a little sloppy. Who can't, right? But you get a little sloppy and you got a little sloppy and now you've got some legal stuff going on from your DUI. But now everybody's going to come for you. Everybody's going to be watching you. Everybody's going to be judging you. And let's not forget that you went hard for I'm drawing a total blank with her name. The girl from Long Island. I don't know why I'm on a thing right now. Not Shannon. Oh my God, what is her name? Gina is her name. Oh my God, I couldn't think of her name. It was driving me crazy. Gina. Don't forget that you went really, 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 really hard for Gina a long time ago when she had her DUI situation. Don't forget, you got the attorney for her, you helped her out, but then you just kept bringing it up. And look, we've all known Shannon for a long time. That's what makes OC great. These girls like to party. Good old Vicky Gunvalson, the OG of the OC, who is the best that has ever graced us on these shows. She is the matriarch. Then you've got Tamra. Classic Tamra. What Tamra came in with, season 2, 3? She wasn't the original, but she's definitely honorary for sure. She's OG as well, but she's made that show, and she get messy as well. She's super messy, and she get angry and nasty, but that's just Tamra, and we kind of just put up with it because it's good TV, right? But she's coming for you. I mean, and Shannon, you've been around for so long. You are the great. That's why we love you. The Trace Amigas. You go hard. You love hard. You party harder. You do as many tequila shots as you can. And you get wild. You get fun. You don't care that the cameras are there. You strip down half the time. Tamra, I've seen your breasts probably just as much as your husband has on television. And that's why we love you. Because, anything goes when the tequilas come out. That's why we love the Trace Amigas. But now there's going to be a rift. And poor Vicky. Vicky's just trying to get her please back on the show because I'm still a little bit upset they got rid of Vicky. I understand they got to mix it up. But now seeing her work her way back, Vicky from the shadows, from the back lines, is really good entertainment as well. And you can see her trying to, be a little bit more politically correct on a lot of these situations, especially with the rift between Tamra and Shannon coming. It is going to be good. And I hope everybody still comes for why am I having such a brain? The Fancy Pants. She bothers me. I don't know what it is, but Heather Dubrow, fancy pants. I don't know why. Please pardon me. I'm having such a brain cramp on names today. But Heather Dubrow, good for the show. There's my personal opinion, and she could be very lovely in real life, and she probably is. But the air that she gives off about herself, Heather Dubrow, bothers me. She gives off that I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you. Just her elitism and just superiority complex that she throws out is always been a little touchy to me. And everybody else feels it and says it. And that's why a lot of people love her, because she just is unabashedly shy about it, right? She does not care, and she's just putting it out there on full display. So that's the great thing about Heather. But to me, I don't really like it. But I am ready for the Housewives. So bring on the new shows for the summer. It is going to be good. And let's tiptoe over to the Real Housewives of New Jersey. Well, this week was post Tipsy and Tulum fight, right? Well, they glossed over that fight, bravo, very quickly, extremely quickly. So fast, I didn't know even, it was almost just like a faded memory. So you had the, you pick up and where everybody's talking about the party, right? That it just got a little bit out of hand. And of course, Teresa has amnesia, of course. And I like the shady editing where they focus in on the actual moment where Jen Aiden pushes Danielle. And you do see, she's like, I must have turned my head for a second. And she did. Teresa did turn her head for just 1 second. So she can say, I did miss that moment. However, you were there before, leading up to that moment. You were there following that moment. You were aware what happened. But yes, you did miss the initial physical contact. And that was Jen Aiden. But they didn't even, back in the day, Bravo would have replayed that scene over and over and over again. And they did not. Not even once. I think they only showed the pushing scene. You didn't see where Danielle smashed the cup in her face. They did talk about it, but you didn't see it. And I was a little shocked by that. I was a little shocked. I can understand they're trying to move past. They don't want to harp on all the negativities and don't want to harp on the physical and keep reliving the scenes and over and over and over again. But isn't that why we tune in? Bravo, Peacock? Yes. That is why we tune in, and that's why I turn in the next day on Peacock to get it streaming for the uncut version. Yes. And so you're not going to give me that. Then you're not going to give me the reunion. I don't know, Jersey, it's not looking good. It is not looking good. Give me some Dolores. Oh, actually, speaking of Dolores, I think Dolores might be on the Traitors as well, new season. And I love me some Dolores. She's just great. Who doesn't care? She's very monotone. I love everything about Dolores. She doesn't take shit. She's stunning. She's gorgeous. She is 100% Jersey and is very happy to put that one out there. She's just no nonsense, and she sees through it all. And I love her. Although she does put up with some serious bullshit with men, though. And I don't know what that is. There's a lot to unpack on that side, but Dolores, we're not going to get into that today. But I love you, Dolores. I do. So, give me Dolores all day, every day. But Jen Aiden, I would be nervous. I think your behavior's been a little bit questionable in the last several seasons, and I find you entertaining to watch, but I would be concerned for your job. Danielle, I would be concerned for your position, although I think Danielle's brought it too. She really has. She reminds me of a young Teresa, although I've never been a fan of Teresa. There's something about Danielle that's a little Teresa-esque. And let's not forget Teresa back in the day, what made her. prostitution whore, flipping the table and everything else. And we've been through everything with Teresa. She's been to jail. She was into jail. Joe went to jail. She went divorced Joe. Now she's married to Louie. To see Teresa go through the ride has been something. And to see the kids grow up on TV has been, it's just been crazy to watch. When Andy Cohen is actually celebrating 15 years of his show, Watch What Happens Live. And I was watching his anniversary. And because when that show came on, I was actually pregnant and on bed rest. So I watched it with the very first episodes, and I still watch it now, and I recap the shows. So I remember when the first episode came on. So when he was showing clips of Teresa, how she's grown and changed, but to see the kids and how they have grown on television. Now we watch them pretty much every step of the way, has really been something to see. And just for Teresa to have that timeline, just on camera is just, that's something I think every parent could, would love to have. Good, bad, ugly, and different, because, we are who we are, and you're going to see the good moments, the bad moments, and everything else. But I think we've seen some pretty good stuff of her kids over the years, and to see them grow up has been great. And Gia, wow, what a wonderful young lady you've turned into. All the girls are going off to college, and they all look great. You've done a great job, Teresa. Now, I must say, I do not want to see Gia as a friend of. Gia, you need to stay a daughter. You need to be giving your mom the good advice, as you always have your whole life. Even as a child, Gia used to give your mom words of wisdom and talk her down when she was in moments of manic. But geez, I don't want you to see a friend of. I do not. You're trying to make something for yourself. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Bravo. Please do not let Gia be a friend of. She's great as a kid of. She's great as a kid of. I don't want her as a friend of. You're giving her too much right now. And it's just, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't want another family member of Teresa's team on her side. I don't like that dynamic at all. I really don't. But it's good. Jen Fessler, you're a little messy this season. I like you. You're a hot mess, but you're getting, I don't know. You are really double downing on your over the topness this year. And it's bothering me. When you did that scene in your interview this past week about Rachel Fuda, how you were acting childish, and I didn't like to see it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. Rachel Fuda, I actually really like you. And I do. I like you. I like your no nonsense. I like your business savvy. I like you don't give a shit what anyone thinks. I like that. There's something I must say, and I don't know how to say this tough. Correctly, gently, I don't know. I think you're a very pretty girl. In my personal opinion, you need to do something. The way your plastic surgery has settled, it's too sharp. You look like a Whoville character. I'm so sorry. I don't know how else to describe it, but she looks like a Dr. Seuss Whoville character with the little tippy nose and the chiseled features. It's too sharp. I don't know who your plastic surgeon was, but don't go back to that person. They did not help you out. And we've seen pictures of you beforehand, and you were pretty then. So I can understand you want to do a little tweak, and you got ready before you even started your time on The Housewives, but you really went quite extreme. And I don't know. It's not that long ago, and it takes time for that stuff to settle. So I hope it settles well. Because I think I really like you, but sometimes when these angles and lighting that they give you, I don't know. I just don't find it very complimentary. But that's just a side note. But so far, Jersey has been fantastic. I did also want to add the fact that I really liked that scene this past week with Rachel Fuda, how she was volunteering with the youth program for arthritis, and hearing the kids' stories and how she was relating to it with her previous experience and experience she's going through now, but as a pediatric patient with arthritis. I felt that really touching. You know, I do a lot of work with a lot of pediatric programs with neurosciences and cardiology, and to hear their stories, it's really touching and it's really profound. So I really enjoyed that part of that segment of the episode. I thought that was really good and touching, and it does show her level of compassion. It does. I want to say I really do like Rachel Fuda. I think she's going really hard for Teresa, and I do like that. I think it's a little too heavy-handed maybe, but I do like the compassion, and her kids are really cute. I don't want to see her daughter's tongue-tie thing again, but to see how she is with her children and her family as a whole, I think is really sweet to see. And I think she's been a good addition. I'll just say that. I think she's been really good. Marge, I still love the Marge. Marge is neurotic. Marge is over the top. And like I said, I feel like I want a psychedelic trip every time they pan around her house. But Marge cracks me up, and I do hope everything works out okay with Joe. That was a pretty scary scene when she contacted the doctor, and his PS levels were really high. So I really hope everything works out okay, Joe. We're all rooting for you and praying for you that everything is okay. And of course, and Melissa Joe are adorable. And the scene with the wedding and Joe being the officiant at the wedding was a sweet moment as well. So moving on to other Bravo stuff. And this week, and like I said, this week there's not a lot going on because of the holiday, the 4th of July weekend or holiday during the middle of the week and the end of the week. So we're going to take the whole weekend. That's what we like to do. So there's not a lot of new TV coming up, but I do want to give a little bit of time on Below Deck Med. And then also in this week, we have the Real Housewives of Dubai. And I like this season. Carolyn Brooks, my heart goes out to you, girl. You're pissed off. But Below Deck Med. Let's get at Below Deck Med. That came on last night. And Aisha, you really, I mean, girl, you're pulling I feel like triple time. And there's so much drama already between your stews. Not only do you have really, green stews. They are green. And they're trying to figure it out. Now that you have a lot of internal fighting already over a boy. Oh, God. So not good. And then you have Gail, who's beautiful, but she's very emotional over her boyfriend that's on another boat. But yet she's got this flirtatious banter with that super cute guy, Nathan, who's just, I think, really funny and witty and just cheeky. He's got such a cheeky personality, and it's very intriguing to watch. So it's like he's almost casting that temptation lure, but just, if you want, it's there, it's not there, it's near that thing. And she's totally interested, and she's just trying to figure out this whole boyfriend thing, which sounds like a kind of a possessive and unhealthy relationship with this guy on the other boat. He seems very insecure. But a little jealous as well, and it's just messing with her. And there's always one of those in every season. There's somebody that's in a relationship with somebody else that's either on land or on another boat, and they're very jealous of their other person in the relationship being gone for that long. Typically, it's about 6 weeks, I think, is the standard time that they're on those boats. And I don't know. It just bothers me how he's just so needy with her, and it's just messing with her. I mean, these kids are working 12, 14, 16-hour days sometimes. So it's hard to contact and be in full contact with somebody somewhere else. And this guy's just needling her the entire time. It's just messing with her. And then you've got that really cute boy, Nathan, who's just like, well, I'm here if you want it. Catch me if you can. And she's interested. And I think she's going to catch it. I think she's going to catch the bait. So it should be interesting to watch, but I'm sure that's going to create drama. And then you have Ellie and Bree. They're now fighting over Joe. And something about Ellie really bothers me. I don't know. She bothers me. I think she's cute, but she bothers me. Like, she's just too high strung. She's very too serious with herself, and she just thinks she's everything. And I don't like that. And I think Bree really kind of pulled the carpet out from underneath her, if you will, because she thought that she had it in the bag with Joe. Ellie did, dancing with them and all this stuff. But when she went to the bar to take selfies of herself and videos of herself, Bree took her move. She's like, look, I noticed that we had a spark. So, hey, what's this going on with Ellie? And he was like, well, what would you want to do? And she basically said, I'd take you. And he went for it. An opportunity. He did not miss that opportunity, I guess I should say. He saw it, took it, and there you go. And now Ellie's pissed because I don't think she's ever had anybody come up and do that, snatch somebody right out from underneath of her, and it pissed her off. She's not used to the competition, and she doesn't like it. And she's a little too high on herself. The whole thing with Jono early in the season, which I get that she wanted to wake the chef up because of the whole food situation at night. She's not a chef. I get that. Completely do. But now she's in this whole hierarchy. I'm going to teach you stuff, even though I don't know. It doesn't seem like Ellie is that strong of a stew. So I don't know. It's going to go down. The pot is bubbling over, and it's just going to, and I think somebody's just under there fanning the flames. It's going to boil over a lot more. It's going to come to a full boil. And I am here for it. I'm excited to watch where Below Deck goes. And, Captain Sandy, you got to get Jono off. Like, this past episode, more food was sent back. Now, everybody loves Gigi. We all love Gigi Rodriguez, Olympic champion. She was fantastic, and she has every right to be picky about her food, about service, and nitty-picky about everything else on the boat. She's been there. She's done that. She's traveled the world. She is used to high-end luxe service. I get that. But, everybody else is complaining. And let's not forget the first boat where they didn't even have their provisions. So it has been nothing short of extremely bumpy season. And I think they're in their fourth charter, and it's been a hot mess. So now this is third charter in a row that Jono's food's been sent back. The primary sent the steak back. Now, I got to tell you, I've worked in a lot of restaurants. Not many steaks happen. It does get sent back. It does happen. Typically, it's because it's undercooked, overcooked, but I don't think I've ever heard that this steak was just bad. I don't think I've ever heard it just didn't taste good. Like, what did you do wrong? And most of the time, chefs really don't do anything to a steak. A little salt, maybe sometimes just a sprinkle pepper. That's really it, because you want it the natural flavors and juices to, present itself, right? You want that to be the standout of the meal. You don't want to totally coat it with the artificial flavors. You want the natural juices to be the clincher of the meal. So for somebody to say it was just gross, I mean, what happened? Did he I bet you he probably cooked the steak probably to about a medium rare, let it sit, and then stuck it back in the oven to reheat it to a medium. That's not an unknown trick in the chef world, especially when you're making a high quantity of a set meal, especially a protein. But especially after we saw what happened with the whole egg fiasco, when he didn't make the eggs to order, that whole thing was just so gross, so nasty. So Jonah, I would definitely be worried. I don't think you're going to have a job much longer. You shouldn't have one right now. I think if they could have replaced you with Gigi, you definitely would. Gigi's going to have to come back now, right? She's already been there once. She had Rachel, who's probably one of the best chefs in Below Deck history, both on the Caribbean. I think she was on Med as well. By far the best chef. By far the best. And Ben was great too. And there's been a couple other really good ones, but she was, David was really good. And I have heard talks that they're trying to get him back maybe, but there was, let's not forget about that whole weird dating thing. I got a little weird. That got a little weird, a little uncomfortable. So I don't know about that. But he was very talented as a chef. Ben was talented. Rachel, though. Rachel takes the cake. Rachel was the best of the best of the best. I remember she tried to make her the tennis ball cake. I'll never forget that too, but it ended up being a weird color. But so Gigi's going to have to come back because she had the first time she hit score. This time, Jono, a complete strikeout. So she's going to have to come back and redeem herself too. And everybody's going to, and you know, Captain Sandy loves Gigi, so she's going to have to come back. But Jono, you got to go. I think there's going to be a turnover in the stew staff. And I bet you, my theory is they're Kyle's drama. So they could bring Kyle back. Or maybe, oh my God, was it Stewart? Who was the guy from Below Deck, the Caribbean, this past season? Oh my God, I adored him. He was so cute. His name will come to me. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time with names today. But he was fantastic. And I liked him, so maybe they'll bring him back. He always brought a really good energy. He was the head stew this past season. I don't know. It should be interesting. I'm going to enjoy watching Below Deck. So far, it has been straight out of the gate, balls to the wall for poor Aisha. She just had her finger cut open this season because she had glass in it. So if this season doesn't break her, I don't know what does, but she definitely needs a fun stew with experience. I'm waiting for the deck crew to have a blow up because of the love feud there. There's always a love feud on the deck crew. And chef drama. That sounds like a typical season of Below Deck, and that's why I love it, right? It's like waiting tables and working in a hospitality, and you have to live together all at once. It is insane, and that's what makes it so good. And I just always think about the film crew there, right? You know, they must live in really tight quarters. Those halls look in the galley and down below the deck look so small, and yet they have these huge cameras that they're in and out of. Like, that's going to be a tough time for them. So give it up to the film crew on that one. So that's it for the TV lineup for this week. Moving into the next few weeks, I'm trying to get some guests lined up. We will be talking a little bit more politics as we're getting closer and closer to election. Things are getting a little bit contentious in the political world. Some crazy things are happening. So let's break into it, and I'm going to try and get some guests so we can really break it down for everybody and see all sides. So thank you so much for joining us on Polywine this week. Have a wonderful 4th of July holiday. Enjoy the food, enjoy the fireworks, enjoy the fun, and we'll catch up with you next time. Thanks so much for joining us. Join us on Polywine Time on Instagram, YouTube, and anywhere you can stream us on any service. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.